see his case in the case.
There's a lot you could say about the Nintendo 64. Or maybe you're someone of a few words. You don't have a lot of good things to say about it. I'm sure some will be able to name all the great games they played. Others would say the system had nothing to offer. One thing that cannot be changed is the mark it left on the video game industry. Oh, sure, you can say some of the games don't hold up at all. That's valid. You can make your 50th TikTok or YouTube video shoving down our throats how the controller is the worst thing since the bubonic fucking plague. Yeah, you could beat that dead horse and abuse the term overrated until it loses all meaning. What you cannot do is take away the memories. You cannot take away from one of the greatest pro wrestling engines ever conceived by a team. And you sure as shit can't take away the influence it had on 3D platformers going forward. Now, this era itself was a golden age of sorts. That's due to it being a transitional era. You saw a ton of firsts in gaming, be it a lock-on system or even just being able to play full 3D polygons in enough frames per second. Despite what a certain master race will regurgitate and tell us ad nauseum, this time was monumental for gaming. Which is exactly why I just wish some of you guys would just shut the fuck up about your favorite O word. Hey, just because I said it was overrated doesn't mean I think it's bad. So let me now make 40-stitch videos on how it's... Damn it, we fucking get it already! The controller's so bad it ruined your collective life, you make Super Nintendo and PS1 RPGs your entire personality because you played, what, half of Final Fantasy VII and watched a video essay on Chrono Trigger? Oh good, suddenly you're the high priest of 16-bit narrative structure. Yeah, the N64 didn't have your precious turn-based melancholy farming sim. Get over it. The system rubbed you in all the wrong ways and you never stopped whining. Nobody fucking cares, man. Now go grab some back meds, toss on your lavender filter, and go talk about a game you actually love. Shut the fuck up. Well, it's not the best system ever like somebody... Nobody's saying it's the best system ever! Some people will. Those people probably haven't played enough systems in their life. It's not a bad system. You're overblowing bullshit, and the controller lives rent-free in your head. Well, now that we have that out of the way, let's talk about a game that celebrates this era. One that proudly, unapologetically wears its N64 roots like a badge of honor. Welcome to the offbeat, crude sandbox platformer known as Corn Kidz 64. While Yooka-Laylee aimed to be a spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie, Corn Kidz 64 feels more like a celebration of all classic platformers, even a few PlayStation ones. To get the whole vibe, imagine the platforming of Super Mario 64, the open-world structure of Banjo-Kazooie, and just a hint of crudity from Conker's Bad Fur Day. If any of that tickles your pickle, you're going to feel right at home. All right, so first things first, let me get the ball rolling by discussing my least favorite part of this game, the big flaw that I have with it. Now, when you play any 3D game out there, it could be anything, let alone open world, what's the one element that stands out? You just booted up the game and started playing, the first thing that comes to mind. Now, if you said your field of view, you are correct! So let's get this out of the way. The camera... hot, steaming, greasy, jump in the shower after touching it, trash! And yet somehow it's entirely workable. Much like Mario 64, there are certain times where you will need to rely on it to get exactly where you need to be. And it won't work out for you. It won't meet you halfway. But that's par for the course when you're living in this era. The devs knew what they were doing, and they leaned into it. This is a game where you use your head. No, literally, you use your head to attack enemies. Your detachable head acts as a harpoon. You'll use it to fight enemies, cross gaps, latch onto objects, and eventually burrow underground. The enemy variety is wild, yo. You've got frogs with flowers growing out of their heads, turtles with spiked shells, red owls that fly like they've been drinking, and walking piles of sneakers and socks. Yeah, this game is weird as hell, and I'm all about it! Much like Banjo-Kazooie, you have an open world here, with subworlds to explore. Starting with the Nacho Hut at the beginning of the game, that'll then turn into a void that acts as a tutorial level, which then goes through this weird house-like dungeon. Then, once you step into the drainage pipe, you enter the wonderful village of Willow's Hollow. From there, you'll unlock new areas through mini passages, cracked mirrors, which send you to obstacle stages, and odd dreamlike transitions. So it's not quite Ocarina of Time big, but it's pretty dense in and of itself. And no side quests, just bonus stages, secrets, and offbeat details to make the world feel alive. Let's talk tone here, because Corn Kidz 64 doesn't go as hard as something like Conker's Bad Fur Day, but it has just enough crude charm to feel like something that'd air on Adult Swim at 1:30 a.m. The story is quite simple. You're Steve, the goat, stuck in a reoccurring nightmare. Your friend Alexis, who somehow found her way into this dream, helps you try to escape before the world drains you of your corn powers. Actually, the developer kinda confirmed it may actually be based on a Stephen King story. Or it was inspired. Or whatever. It's on the Steam page. Ask them. But the magic of this game? It's in the details. See, the villagers are all pigs. Some run shops, some dance to the music only they can hear. One's arguing with a broken vending machine, another's teaching a chair how to read. And the most devastating thing you'll learn? The Lasagna Festival was canceled! Tragic. Unforgivable. This is the kind of world building more devs need to take notes from. Weird, cryptic, and just grounded enough to make you curious about everything. Developers, add little details to your world like this. It'll make a huge difference. Now, throughout the game, your friend Alexis appears through portals, usually to drop helpful tips. Sometimes she's useful. Other times, she talks about insurance, appendicitis, turning into soup, and how you'll never wake up if you keep asking questions. She gaslights you. She guides you, resets your checkpoints, and leaves you scratching your head the best way possible. Now, the leveling system in this game is not exactly what you would think it is. There's no XP, no stat sheets, just cube collecting. The more cubes you gather, the higher your level gets. Your level determines what doors you can open, and through those doors, you access new areas, powers, and progression. Simple, effective, and strangely satisfying. One more thing I want to mention. Much like last episode of Indie Ignition, Corn Kidz encourages the use of a controller, especially on PC, which should give you the option to use any device you see fit for comfort. And after hearing this, I can already tell some of you are itching to bitch about a certain controller more and more. The Duke is worse!
That is one big pile of shit.
Well, friends, I hope by now you've had the itch to at least check this delightful game out. If you love late 90s and early 2000s platformers, you owe it to yourself to check this game out. Corn Kidz 64 is a reminder that platformers are still thriving in the indie space, and that the Nintendo 64 didn't just shape a genre, it revolutionized it. Suck it down, haters!
I don't care for anything. I can't stand this